kanje. So I had to sort myself out. So now when you sort yourself out, and when you climb that steppy, so you're one of those steps, and you go to the high places. We bengihlalela lapha la kunenkani khona azasho umhlabeleli angifuni ukuhlala la kunenkani khona. When I say these things, I know for some people it does not make sense because it feels difficult. It's like you don't understand. You just don't understand. Ufuna ngiye kusibanibani enza ukuthi yes, I know I was there. I used to sing that song nami. I used to like blame abantu. I used to make my husband ukuthi axoxe indaba nami ngithi you don't understand. Usibanibani ungenza ukuthi you just don't understand. You don't feel the pain. But manje ngiyazi ukuthi zonke lezi zinto engangizesho ngizenza ngangizenziso ngazi ngangizenziso kubo umntwana. But now ngoba ngikhulile, I'm just saying, you know what? I am in control. I am responsible. I'm the captain of my life. I'm responsible for my life. And it's so liberating to know ukuthi responsible. And when I have to make a choice, I make it quickly, right there and then. I don't delegate it to anyone. Amen. And I've taught myself to listen to the Spirit. To listen to the Spirit of God and also to listen to my spirit. Kahle umoya wami oxhumene nomoya kaNkulunkulu uyavuma ukuthi ngumntwana kaNkulunkulu, and it gives me, and he gives me direction in Jesus' mighty name. So now we are going to go and continue in the topic yethu, boundaries. Do you have them in your life? Okay? Are you able to see where you end and where somebody else begins? Do you know how to say no? Or your life is just an open ground that has no boundaries, just anybody can come in and get out as they want and do whatever they want to do? Do you know how to say no? And if wena opendulayo ke angazi ukuthi uthini, mawukwazi when miss ama boundaries, noma you do have boundaries in your life, let us help other people, a majority of people who don't have, and let us teach them. Let us show them by also being a demonstration. This is how you set boundaries in life. I love you, but I'm saying no. I love you, but I cannot be everything in your life. Okay? This is where I end. These are my values. This is how far I'm prepared to go. Yes, you planted this, and I'm not going to reap for you. You need to reap for yourself because you are responsible for yourself. I'm only responsible to you. Carry your heavy load, but your load, everyday load, if unaluyiphathela no Sindisiwe naye njengoba engivashele nje la nami uyayiphathela bandla isikhwama sakhe. Yabona? Uyasiphatha ke sami Nkosi yami, sesiphuma uzongiphathela sami ngoba nguma wakhe. But khona abantu abafuna ukuphathela izikhwama zabo. Uyabona? Kuyi responsibility yakho ukuthi phatha isikhwama sakho. Yes, uma kunomthwalo omkhulu engibona afuna ngikuphathise ngizokuphathisa, but ngeke ngikuphathise zonke izinto. Kufuna ufunde phelayo ekutheni, you know what, this is how I did it yesterday, and this is how I'm going to do it today differently so that the results will be different. So boundaries, we sikhulumile ukuthi ama boundaries, just recap ukuthi boundaries are property lines, udonga. Ama boundaries is a sign ebekiwe. It's just ukuthi you will be prosecuted mawungena la, and also ungangeni lolu tshani loba buhlaza wahamba ngezicathulo zakho sizokubopha. Yabona nje ama boundaries maningi, we see them all the time. And also to us, because sabantu, sometimes boundaries are not easy to see because they are not physical. And we did say boundary is me, how far I go and where do you begin. This is me, but that is not me. And then we discussed about responsibility, saying discussile local. And also we said boundaries, they protect the good. Good must be in and bad must be outside. So if your boundaries are not doing that, that is why we have gates. Okay, konu bad do kona ngapagati, that's not supposed to be there. Then I need to let this thing come out, and then the good remains inside and the bad remains outside. So these things sometimes they become so rich. You need to think about this until it makes sense in empilweni yakho, and also you need to practice in empilweni yakho. And also, uNkulunkulu has taught us about some boundaries because he's a God of boundaries. He is so clear about what he wants us to do and how we should approach him, how we should live. Masiphila kuyena noma sabantu just human beings. He is clear ukuthi when we live sifuna ukuba kuyena, this is how we should be. And these are the things that we should carry enhlizweni zethu. This is how we should think, this is how we should behave. And also we did discuss some examples with skin, our skin, our boundary. My skin means with imina law and nobody should touch me anyhow. This tells you ukuthi if I was invisible, of course umuntu bezohamba adlule even phakathi kumina sike wasiwabona ama ghost istories ama ghost ukuthi ghost udlula even phakathi kuyona ukwazi uyabona uthola ukuthi nawo sengihlule ukuchaza ngoba uyibonde lento ku TV ubona ukuthi uyadlula nje kwi ghost na idlule kuwena because there is no skin, there is no flesh. But kuthina, I'm just saying this skin tells you ukuthi this property belongs to Thabisile Audrey unkosikazi ka pastor ka dokotela uSuoane Msomi, pastor Suoane, dokotela uSuoane Msomi. And when children don't know how to understand ukuthi this is their boundary, then abantu bafike bathinta noma kanjani, then they teach them ukuthi noma ubani fanele akuthinte noma kanjani, and you can't say no. And then ithola ukuthi that's why we have people who can't say no abathintwa noma ubani and abaviolator noma ubani. Uthola umuntu ehleli kwi relationship engekho right because she was not taught ukuthi you're not supposed to stay with relationship. You don't allow this person to teach you, to touch you in that manner. Words are boundaries. When we say no, I don't like this, I don't like your tone, I don't like how you speak to me, I don't like how you behave. I love you, yes, but you're not going to behave like this to me. And also, now what we're going to discuss today, what we're going to discuss day number 2 is how boundaries develop in toddlers. The word no helps children separate from what they don't like. Okay, no, we hear abantwana beshe ebuncane babo bethi no, mase sithina abazalwane yes. You can't say no. Okay, it gives them the power to make choices. uNkulunkulu wasidala ngaleyo ndlela ukuthi when we grow up siba naleyo nto ukuthi we want to make choices. I'm so glad ukhona uSindisiwe lana. Mhlawumbe Sindisiwe, you're going to just come in and pop in a little bit. Just nje uze ngala. You said to me something about uMasindi. Ukuthi uMasindi, there was a time, welcome Sindisiwe, there was a time where uMasindi would like to know ukuthi wena uma wakhe. I know ukuthi umuntu sondela ngala ngoba bayilungisile ilokhoza yethu mase uba inline nje lapha ya. So basebe yaklo basebe wasisethi ma, I just want ukuthi ngizwe ukuthi uma wami. So I was xoxele ngaleyo ndaba because sometimes omunye umzali uzothi, you know what, you have to share me with everyone. Don't you understand ukuthi mina nguma wazo zonke lezi ngane futhi le yahlupheka leyana inabazali. And then uthola ukuthi ingane just being taught ukuthi wena kufanele ube ne ownership yeinto zakho.
Yeah, so indlela waqala ngayo mami waqala to my clothes yebo. Thola ukuthi ingubo zakhe akayiqoqoqe zami ngiyathetha. Yena ngoyiqoqa ingubo zakho uyiqoqe zami avelathi nje uma wami. Yebo. Nginga understand ukuthi kanjani up until uthothi mengisesontweni uzofika ngimemeza. Mhlambe ngisabele ngidlule uyambona useyakhala yabo. Up until ke aze sihlale phansi axoxe ukuthi ma ngiyafisa ukuthi nje ube uma wami njengoba uma wami ngikufeel ukuthi uma kungathi umunye umuntu bengabe kumemeza usabelele phezulu umphendule but mina just because uyazi ngisuka nami endlini ngivela futhi uya nami endlini bese okay because ami ngifuna ukukhuluma nawe ngaleso sikhathi. And I kwabongekholula ma because I feel like uyangirula phela abantu so feel ngithando yena. But as we go sixoxe endlini ngaze nga understand up until la ngabuka khona ukuthi lento isengqondweni yakhe futhi I think ufuna ukusizwa ngayo noma ngisekhaya kuvakasha ingane uzoba nje good girl apheke amthanda umuntu kodwa nje meke kwahlola phansi ma wesohlala sobatho iTV nje siyayibuka ngala athi uzohlala nami phela uma wami fihle eduze kwami yabo ubuka ukuthi okay hlala 5 minutes hawu kanti uyangithanda ngempela usungahamba kubuyele ngale and then lokho mama kungisizile because mina all along bengazi ukuthi ngiyamthanda uyingane yami yabo but after all those things naleyo into yenzakala saxoxa samnandi sabhoda si right manje sibizana ngomo girl yabo usiyakwazi mina bekhona inkinga nayo akhulume but iqala so that vele uzokhala yabo azobona into okay sometimes that's where ma ngisabela athi yeka vele uzonqaba yabo ngisasabelele ngingakasho lutho and irritate ukuthi wathi angeke vele ngizonqaba yabo athi oh sometimes ifike angibiza esontweni ngibiza ingane uyabona-ke yabo lesibona ubusikhipha kuyangani yisona ngisifunayo ke nami ngabe ngikubiza esontweni yabo khona it's not an easy thing mama but kufena u-adjust ukuthi okay ngizokwenza noma ungekuze ukwenze konke sometimes ngaphela kuphela azakurule ukuze kube ileyo ndaba but adjust there and there ukuze ayibone ukuthi okay ngingakhuluma nalo mama ngingaxoxa nalo mama even when it comes to ekhaya mevula ifridge kufika livule kubila mawakhe alivula alivala mekhuza omunye umuntu akukho right ngoba phela leli fridge angithi le mali yakho maye lapho ifridge mina ngingane yakho kumele ngilivule ngiphinde ngilivale so ingane yentombazane iba nalokho ukuthi izinto zamawazo ezakhe nje kuyazenzakalela because nami uma uyasho ukuthi nawe nembizeni ngoba uyigqoka but akekho understand ukuthi why ayekho ngibuza but ngangifethe mangigqoka into kamanga yezayo uma wami
so that is inbuilt in a human being.
Exactly.
And we teach our children not to protect themselves and also to be able to make choices if siba violator when they want to express that, and then we tell them that's a bad thing to do.
Yes.
So we need to find a way to enhance that element yokuthi uyayazi ownership, uyayazi into yakhe. And that is a very good thing, while at the same time protecting mhlambe nabantwana laba abafikile nabantwana, like for instance, I don't know ukuthi wena ungaresponda kanjani if mase kuthiwa umntwana uyafika uyintandana and then mayisefike lana vese angithi uyazi ukuthi angeni mawakhe but I've just allowed ukuthi afike azobe part of us. I think we need to tell the truth from the beginning yokuthi umntwana understand ukuthi you know what, we love you but at the same time this is your standing, this is your position, because any problem yenzakalayo abantwana abafikayo abangenamuntu sigcina sesibasondeza bona kakhulu and we create enemies between abantwana bethu nabantwana laba bafikayo ngenxa ukuthi ayiki balance khona sikwenza sidlulele. What is your response when it comes to that?
All right mama, mina I think i-response yami kulokho mami njengabazali ngizokhuluma ngami personal. Njengomzali wena usukuyitshela ukuthi wenze konke because engqondweni yakho mzali kunalokuthi uyazi ukuthi ngiyamzali uyazi ukuthi ngiyamenzela. Yes mama, ikhona that certain age ethi uyazi but once that 12 13 14 15 ukuthi uyazi akusasebenzi usefuna ukuthi umazisi ukuthi ngiyazi bisho ukuthi ngiyazi siyazana sobathu ngoba I think usuke naye lapho mase na 13 usuke seku adolescent stage sekukhona izinto afisa ukukhuluma nawe but if ungamtshengisa ukuthi uyamthanda ngeke sakhuluma nawe at all. So uqala izinto ezincane ezimayini ukuthi awuma uthathele ijezi lakhe shuthi mase ngenza ukukhulu kuyoba wesi yabo. So kumele uqale from lapho ukuthi okay ngeli jezi angithandi uhlale ngale ekhaya anginqaba ukuthi igqoke kodwa nothi ukuthi ukorobhe ngalo yabo. Okay lo mntwana ola ekhaya akazi uzohlala isikhathi eside asimthandi yabo ukuze mehamba afika sikhulume kahle le yakho mina bengisizwa yilokho ngithi nje umthando umnekele yabo menze le yonke into it's okay masungikhumbule uzosho ukuthi ngikhumbule then nami ngenze lo ndlela ukuthi okay so xoxa sikhumbulene ngibele lapho because if ukhombisela ukuthi awunandaba kunzima ukuthi akuphinda kutrust kufana kuloko mawuthola ukuthi umuntu makuthiwa ingane yakho yenza ukuthi uthethe on that spot ukuthi ingane yakho ifile nje ukuthi ibibhedeli nakho lokho mama akukho right. It's fine ufikele mawuzocomplaina ngomntanami ngizosho ukuthi all right ngiyakuza maya yimbi into ayenzile ngizodila naye mangabona usuhambile because once ingane yakho ayithatha on the spot ngibana ukuthiwa yenza ukuthi na next time just into ayenzanga uzofila ukuthi mina vele uma akangiprotect noma ngingakwenza ukuthi nokuthi vele uma makanendaba uzwa ngabanye abantu akayifuni into eqhamuka kumina yabo so leyo nto iyodwa ma iyayilimaza ingane futhi ikwenza ingane yakho yazi ukuthi ngeke ngikwazi ukumthemba uma because ngiyakwazi ukumvela.
And as ukhuluma right now, I just feel like we as parents nabantwana bethu, we are a replica kaNkulunkulu nathi.
Yes.
So when uNkulunkulu uwonile, how do you want God to treat you when you find yourself in a mess? There's been a time where people will call me and say, I'm in a mess. I don't even know what to do. I think I should kill myself because there is no solution. And then I will speak to a person and menzeba understand that God will never be disappointed by your mistake. Actually, He paid for your mistake in advance when you just need to believe in that. So nathi if sihluleka kubantwana bethu, we don't give the grace that we want from God. Mangabe sigijimela again. What are we saying? What are we teaching to our children? For me, parenting has turned like 360 degrees. Oh, okay. What I'm doing is a replica of what God is going to do me by how I treat my children. So what we're just trying to emphasize here, or what we're emphasizing, please let us not be spontaneous. Just respond without thinking when our kids are involved, because sometimes in that manner we are destroying rather than creating. Let us have a plan. You would see this is where I am, because in Pilo Zetayfan, and this is what is happening in Piloniam. I want to protect my children. And if who is cut lafna konduhlale konanabu, uba understand this. So you see, like for instance, lengan ingane figil. You see, agayenwa like high, but it will be a godly thing to treat this child with kindness. So now I understand when I love this one, it doesn't mean I'm loving you lesser. It's just that this is a condition, but I love you so much. So those affirmations and those communications that are made clear, it brings umntwana abe at ease. This guy tells a story. He went to a restaurant, namadodana akautu, and they have fun. And then the little one just fell asleep, and then wase amthatha wamgona, and wase sehamba nabo. This other one started behaving differently. Mayisembuzo sindaba uthi wena baba uthanda kakhulu usibani bani mase nami ngizele ungangithatha yini ungigone njengoba ugona usibani bani. So there are things that happen ingane zethu ezibukayo zibuka ukuthi and then it causes a confusion, and we need to be there to clear it for them. Sometimes ngoba bancane they are unable to express ama feelings about zayo, and then Ndlela abayisebenzisayo is either they rebel or they cry. Same ulokhu Shalom. I'm your father, I'm your mother campaign, and then we buy uniform. Thabisile Msomi nabanye abazalwana babe partnerishe nathi sihambe siyothanda lezi ngane siyigqokise, and then itende about 90 children that I have to look after and hug. And each child I was hugging and loving, and I was with my son's love. And Shalom didn't like that. I think he felt somebody else is taking my mom. My kaya angazi ngimbone erebela kanjeyani, and he started behaving as somebody demon possessed. Eshaya dongeni, ekhala, and then ngathi mangimbuka ngase ngiya-understand. Ubaba ke kuhambisa abazalwana abanye, and angazi finally ngenze njani. Ngathi woza kozolala nami. By the time ngimbiza sozolala nami, kwavela umoya ngcole nje wangivulela ipage. No, he's scared, as if wena usuthanda kakhulu abanye abantu ngaphezulu kwakhe, because that is how he interprets when he sees you interacting nabanye abantu. But on the other hand, Shalom is a lover. I don't know, I just need to understand what makes him abuke ngalendlela abuka ngayo when it comes to being threatened to mawakho uzogcina esemshare nabanye abantu. Examples la, we need to encourage abantwana bethu to say no. Do you want to take a check? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sindisiwe. So, like for instance, one of the example we use here, not having to kiss and hug a relative if they don't want to. Habo bigelela laphayana. Masebelo yabona ifika ikhehla limhlikihle ngentshebe, nami ngangivelelwa nje ingane umkhulu bami bengihlikihle ngentshebe ngijoja ngentshebe. Ngaleyo ndlela ngiyithanda nje intshebe engijoja la emqaleni, because omkhulu bami bang traumatize. I have a bad memory about this. But umzali uzokuphusha, asihambeni ingane ithi angifuni ukuhamba, hamba ngenkani uhlonipha ulaleli. A child is saying, I'm putting a boundary, but when njengomzali it's not good to put a boundary. Maybe that is why we have a generation of people who don't know how to protect themselves, because we've been taught ukuthi samukele noma yini, especially when we have this mentality ukuthi umzali is always right and yonke into umzali ayishoyo noma wrong or right, and you need to say yes noma ungahambisani nakho. Okay, not to have to finish the food. Not having to finish all their food on their plate. Hey, awuqedanga ukudla. Uyazi ukuthi kuneyingane ehluphekayo lemnyango. Do you want to hlupheka njengalezi engaqeda ukudla? Ingane yasho this is my limit. This is as far I go as far as this, but when I go further. Ngoba kuneyingane ehluphekayo. But yena akahlupheki. Wathi uShalom ngelinye ilanga ngithi, "Hey, anidli crust. Ngiyazi kunabantu abahluphekayo lapha eminyango." Wathi mangi ithanda iChrist hamba uyithatha uyinikeze laba abahluphekayo. But he was telling the truth. Ngathula ngambuka. Uyamazi uShalom is very spontaneous. Actually, uShalom is my teacher. He teaches me and challenges me ngezinto engihlale ngiyifundisa. Athi ma, how can you say this? Kade usifundisa ukuthi ongisho wena kade uthi uthe ungasho uthi awukwazi ukwenza ukuthi ngoba uma uthi awukwazi ukwenza uzongakwazi ukwenza usholani pho uthi awukwazi ukudlala iFortnite ngoba uma uthi awukwazi ukudlala iFortnite uthi ngeke ukwazi ukuyidlala ngithi oh okay Shalom ngiyezwa ngiyaphenduka mfana wami I'm so sorry I made a mistake yabona. So now another thing, getting to make choices in what to wear from among mom's choices. You are in charge of deciding what you are going to wear. Like for instance, allowing your children to decide what they want to wear. Whereas ama-characters ethu awafani, even i-taste yabo bebancane isuke ikhona already. We just need to enhance that. Ngiyakhumbula ngelinye ilanga ngithengele omunye umntwana ingubo. Ngabthekela into efundwa yimina. Then mase ngimnikeza akayithandanga leyo nto ukuthi that's not my style. And then ngaphatheka kabe enhlizweni yami. But ekugcineni ngase ngiba nalokho ukuthi you know what, I should have asked her ukuthi ayichoosele yena ukuthi ufuna ukugqokani. Yeah, sometimes if abantu behlupheka bamkela noma yini because basuke bengenawo amandla okuyichoosela bona. But if we position of being blessed, you don't need to treat yourself as somebody who's limited on our resources. And also if you have moved to a place of being blessed, if no matter what to pay, wamgela no mainu koga logo piwai. But most was we ketela wena express yourself with confidence. But I know it becomes difficult for abantu abazuguti bayahlupeka baba ma victims udbakule babe better unless they break out of that wall and that shell. Because when before mishwe kanjalo bebancane bakhula naleyo mentality. That is why we have people who are beggars and you try to move them out. Uthola ukuthi abafuna ukusuka kuleyo position of being beggars. Why? It's because they have been brainwashed, they have been conditioned to ukuthi that is how they behave. Yes. So we should say our children need to feel safe. We need to help them to feel safe to say no. Number 2, help the child to respect other people's boundaries. They need not only give a no, but also they need to accept no. This means not giving to a temper tantrum in a store. This one is a very difficult thing to deal with. Wenze njani? Ingane yakhe sibhuquza phansi. Wenze njani sisiwe ingane nathi iyabhuquza phansi. Wonke umuntu seyakubuka manje and iyayifuna lento eyifunayo. But you just need to put your foot down and say no. If you're going to behave like this, you are not going to get what you're asking. There is a way of asking, and then then say calm down, mesukhuluma naye, esekmasenses akhe. But you know, parenting is difficult. Challenge and find sometimes young born you know what, I need to read more books to understand what I need to do here, because zikhona manje incwadi ze parenting but okunye kukuthatha by surprise. But I just want to say, to understand this principle, you can't just expect your child to follow like a zombie. They have a will, they have choices. Enable them to feel safe to say no, but also at the same time they need to receive or no coming from the other side. It means time out, appropriate confrontation, spanking when necessary. When kids set boundaries, it is essential that they be honored. I know you don't want to take a nap right now. So when umntwana ethi no, nawe ke as umzali, you need to honor that and appreciate because my child is actually being able to set boundaries at an early stage. And it is crucial that not to result in a withdrawal of love. When umntwana ethi no and then so ngeke ngisakwenzela ukuthi yabo ngeke ngisakuthanda ke manje uthola ukuthi usudiniwe usuyamduba umntwana just because uthe no. This happens a lot kuma teenagers. That is what we do njengabazali. Uthola ukuthi umntwana mayithe no, mangiyi kasibanibani noma ngiyi kwi function yasekhaya ngifuna ukuhlala ekhaya. Once wesho njalo usuyam withdraw, usuyampanisha, yabona, usumenza afile gabi, and then usezothi yes noma azi ukuthi ngaphakathi uthi no, and then we're creating a creature that is going to be problematic. People who are double-sided, who are divided within themselves, who are already defeated. We are raising a generation of people who are rebellious. Have you ever asked yourself why? I'm sorry to say it like this, maybe interpret Ndlela, but please hear the meaning and the hearts why I'm saying, which why other nations like whites ibantwana babo bekwazi ukuthi ba behave, uthola ukuthi abethu aba behavior khona ade ngitshela nje ukuthi ezikoleni lezi zama-racial, if sekugcwele kakhulu abantu abamnyama, izingane zabantu abamnyama ziyarebella and zifika late and zinamathemba nayo yonke leyo nto up until baze besebebeka ama-boundaries ukuthi izingane zindawo ezokuthi asiyithathi. Why is it like that? We need to go back to a drawing board and understand what are boundaries and also be able to apply them ngendlela right on both ways. Parents need to stay attached to their children even when they disagree with them. You see, angikufuni ke ngidiniweke kuyabheda wena phuma la hamba. That is also what we do when our children, maybe they get pregnant, we'll send them out. Uthi hamba la usadingeki, you no longer fit in this house ngoba ukhulelwe. Where do you think the child should go when esenkingeni? Because if umntwana ekhuleliwe, mhlambe nawe wamthola vese nawe wakhulelwe. If sekukhulelwe yena uthakayephi? Uthakadile kanjani nale problem enkulu abhekene nayo? Mhlambe adrive ukuthi ayenze because ube explorer futhi ubengatshelwanga nanokuthi mawulala nomfana uzokhulelwa. Because kuthiwa ingane iqathake ezulwini noma iqathake ebhanoyini. So now mase eselingekile ke wenza lento angatshelwanga yona angaprepare yona on time mayesekhulele abafana babi. Uyabona leyo nto le is something that we should not say, because at the end of the day our girls and boys, they are going to grow up and sifuna bashade futhi. But enye into esishoyo bafana babi kuthiwa yini babiza ngani abafana inunu ilwane baleka mabona umfana baleka manje. How do you expect ukuthi ekugcineni futhi abe intimate nalo muntu ambalekelayo? So we need to pay attention entweni esishoyo, just because sometimes we are afraid to have difficult conversation nabantwana bethu. I think we need to have someone who will come and tell us, how do you begin to talk about sexual education nabantwana bakho as umzali? I know we fought this, sangayifuna government letter because we have misconceptions akhona. Yes akhona, but enye into ekhona kwi-curriculum ye-sex education is just that to teach our children ukuze bakwazi we protect. I know it is not all good because khona kunye okuperverse nje, but we can't throw away everything. Throw yonke into silahle konke khona ngoba nathi asikwazi ukukhuluma nabantwana bethu. We are not even there ukukhuluma nabantwana bethu kubatshela ukuthi kwenzakalani, to prepare them for marriage, to prepare them for sex life, because this is something that is difficult for us to discuss. Uthi konke ke mangithi sex kwenzekani ngithini ngisebenzisa amapha amagama ngithini kuyena ngona ke wakwayibona intombazane inqunu. Okay, yena uma kumfana kona ke makuyintombazane uyamazi umfana mayinqunu noma uzoba taken by surprise, and then mase kuba khona curiosity sebona lezi zinto mina engakaze ngize ngikhulume ngazo ngimtshele ngaze seyibone sethi uma ngitshela ngalokho, what is this? esefuna ukuyothinta, esefuna ukuyexperiment. We need to change how we do things, guys. We've made so much damage trying to avoid ezinye izinto, but I think this is time now with ezinye izinto funa sikhulume nazo. If nabantwana ekhaya, find a way to speak to them about sex education and tell them ukuthi kuzofika isikhathi la bezohlosa khona obaba badlala indima yokuthi bakhulume namadodana abo ukuthi kuzokwenzakalani. I like when Apostle Ntshulane mayikhuluma ethi qala kwakuba khona ezinye izinto zesizulu silahlile because we became so modernized by ezinye izinto zokuba ama-African zazisebenzela thina because la wakuhlala khona insizwa ila kwakukhotshwa khona insizwa labantu abadala bekhuluma mayisethombile lo se nalo nabafana bayathomba ngasi mase sebekhulile uthola ukuthi kuzothiwa awusafanele manje ukuhlala nabancane hamba uye insizweni ngoba usukhulu ne-voice siyashintsha, and then there are people nobhuti abadala abazokwazi ukucoach. Azikho lezo zinto namhlanje. Abantwana bethu babhizi nama-game, badlala ama-game kusukela ekuseni kuze kube intambama bakuma-smartphones yonke leyo nto. Nobody tells them to have a relationship with their own bodies. But now this is the time as we enter the new era to go back to the basics. We've lost the basics, but we need to find a way to go back there and be able to have conversations with our children. And for those who are doing it, I'm just saying, well done. And we also we are going to be at some point one families who are going to coach other families, especially single parents. Those sons and daughters that don't have abanye abazali, families abangabalancile, which we need you who are expecting these things to come and help those families that are broken and be a mentor family, so that at the end of the day we close this gap ekhona yabafana bakhulu baba bengekho no mama bengabafundisanga intimacy namadodakazi akhulu baba bengekho omama bengafundisanga intimacy. We know ukuthi intombazane ekhule nobaba ubaba odlalile indima empilweni yakhe ikhula is strong, ikhula izazi ukuthi ubani, ikhula ama gaps abengaba khona if ubaba bengekho engekho uthola ukuthi will be successful in life. But those who don't have fathers, they have so many wounds and so many gaps, and we need families that are doing this very well to come and support us in terms of mentoring those families who need to be helped. Okay, when parents detach from a misbehaving young child, instead of staying connected and dealing with the problem, they tell a lie about God's constant love. And then you come, uNkulunkulu uyakuthanda, ingane ingayazi leyo nto yini ngoba wena mangabe ikudinga, wena njengomzali mangabe ukudinga, you detach, which is something we don't even expect from God thina singabantu sibadala. When I was having a conversation with this lady who says, I've messed up and I think God doesn't love me, He's going to kill me, He doesn't even hear my prayers. Ngaba nalokho ukuthi there is a problem kumzali. There is a problem kubazali bakhe, only to find ngempela ukuthi umama is detached. Mom is always expecting perfection, and if you mess up, we are born to find a nobani. And then with the same picture, ingane in a picture fanayo, if I mess up, uNkulunkulu will not be able to hear me. We are the God that our children learn from who God is. We are the relationship, we are the reflection of God in our children's life. When I learned about this, it changed me forever. When my children mess up, if they do mess up, I will be there for them. I will be there with my head, my body, with my hands, with my nails, with my hair. I will be there for them because that is what I am expecting God to do. But this is what God is doing in Biloniam. He is there for me when I mess things up. He is always there. When parents pull away in hurt, disappointment, or rage, they send this message to the child. You are lovable when you behave. You are not lovable when you don't behave. That's why we have so much problems. Even esontweni. I'm just thinking right now, it's even esontweni city. Penduka ezonweni zakho, iba right. Behave kahle, manga behave kahle siyakulahla, phumela ngaphandle, you don't fit here. What were you thinking? Ucabanga ukuthi wenzani? Gcotsha omkhulu, ucabanga ukuthi wenzani? uyagcotshwa uyiphakamisa tshela ukuthi ungcono buka manje uwile kanjani-ke wena-ke kugcontshwa kulo buwazi ukuthi wazi konke and then sifike nama-AK-47 simqedele umuntu. May the Lord help me. May the Lord help me. May the Lord help me, because sometimes there are areas in me ebanalokho ukuthi hayi wawenzi kahle so angikudingi, but I am paying attention to those areas in my life which I cannot live like that. I cannot continue doing that if I want to see a change empilweni yami, kwifamily yami, ebandleni engikulona, i-community, e-South Africa, e-Africa, even emhlabeni wonke. So this for me, it changed me, it touched my life. Because when you do good, you are lovable, but when you mess up, you are unlovable. Whereas uNkulunkulu gave his only son. What you are unlovable, but I love you, and I'm going to give you a solution. I will give you my own son who will die in your place so that you get saved. That is so deep. It's so deep, even us explaining it, it doesn't hit the core. Yokuthi kanti shuthi ayikho into engayenza engangihlukanisa nothando lukaNkulunkulu. If kuthiwa khona isono esu-100% esingenzeka manje senziwe umuntu, leso sono ngeke simhlukanise umuntu noNkulunkulu if ebuyela kuNkulunkulu azi ukuthi unobaba wakhe. Kahle hle umuntu uphenduka 70 times 70. 7 times 70 in one day. So it means you can't get it wrong. Ithina nje bantu esingakami la uNkulunkulu emikhona. And me just saying that, I think sengifike ekugcineni, I don't see myself ngikwazi ukuqhubeka ngizoqedela le section because I feel it is so heavy. Bangaka abantu esiba rejectile. And I just want to say to the Lord, Lord, I'm sorry, I messed up. I'm so sorry Nkosi yami ngawonke izinto engizenzile, but ngiyazi futhi ukuthi usungithethelele. I think the biggest thing for me to do now is to get it right now and do my best manje going forward. And not to condemn myself ngezinto engibonayo ukuthi wrong ngizenzile. And sometimes inhliziyo yami iyafuna ukuya kuleyo ndawo. Iyafuna ukuya kuleyo position yokuthi iba lovable mawenza kahle. And maungenzi kahle, I discommunicate you in my life, but I don't like that. And I'm asking for people who will say the same, who will say, I love the unlovable. Maybe it's about time to go to the unlovable and love them, knowing what they are lovable and they are perfect just as the way they are. The child translates that message something like this. So when you say to your child, you are lovable when you're doing good and unlovable when you're doing bad, this is what the child translates inside them. When I am good, I am loved, and when I am bad, I am cut off. Okay, that's a very unstable place to be in for a child. Parents who pull away from their child are participating spiritual and emotional blackmail. So if you're pulling away from your child, you are blackmailing your child. You can complain about people who are blackmailing, who are doing fraud, but you're also doing the very same thing. You can justify yourself just because it's not clear, but you are doing the very same thing. I think it's about time we just don't judge anyone. Because there are things that if uNkulunkulu bekufanele asijudge, uzosijudge ngazo, like blackmailing our children. I know it's so difficult sometimes to work out right words to say nganeni zethu mazi misbehavior, because vele kuyisukele kodwa nje uyithola ususho into wrong. Yabona uzofeyila wena usozwaba ilutho, instead of saying, you know what, you can do this, you can do this. Sometimes my limitations are now, it's not because they wanted them, it's because they are there. But me as a parent, I can make my child believe in himself. But ngenxa ukuthi we compare our children to somebody, and le system yala emhlabeni you need to be perfect. I was thinking about educational system yokuthi ophasile muhle uyabona kunconywa abantu abaphasile. What about those abanama limitations mhlawumbe? What about those wonderful children abangaphasanga and then who are told you are not good enough because of failure? Maybe it's about time we change the system and educate children izinto ezibalekile, like having worth to themselves. Ukuthi results ukuthi uphasile noma ufailile does not mean ukuthi you're going to be small in the future. There is a mother, I think lesi story lesi sikwincwadi ebizwa ukuthi Think and Grow Rich. Uyafika esikoleni ingane iyafunda, and this man became a very successful person. But ekhula uthi esikoleni bamxosha babiza uma wakho uthi yazi ukuthini ingane yakho does not fit, he's very slow, he doesn't fit in this school, ubambezela abanye abantwana, so we will let him go. Umama wathi ngiyabonga, wafika wathatha incwadi le babeyibhalile ukuthi we are letting your child go because he's a slow learner. Wabuza umntwana ukuthi ma yindaba ngidedelelweni, wathi yazi bathi uhlakaniphe kakhulu, they are just failing to handle you. They don't know what to do because you are so fast, uhamba phambili kwezinye ingane, so bacela mina ngikufundise wena ukuze kunga affecteki ingane. And then wayifundisela umama ingane yaba yinto enkulu emhlabeni, and then masubaba eseqoqa, I'm not sure ukuthi wayenzani, but mayiqoqa athole lencwadi le ayifunda uma wakhe, mayeseyifunda isho lento engishoyo ukuthi my mom protected me. For me, when I heard the story ngaba nalokho ukuthi how do I protect my sons and make them believe in themselves no matter what happens? But sometimes my sons, they reveal what is already in me, and I'm so grateful for having them in my life because they are my greatest teacher. Okungibonisa ukuthi yiziphi ezinye izinto ezikumina kufanele ukuthi ngiyilungise. Parents who tell their children it hurts us when you are angry makes the child responsible for the emotional health of the parent. Umphatha kabi nje mama uphatheke kabi. Ha, wonke umuntu responsible ngama emotions akhe. Ungiphathe kabi ungilibazile kahle hle ezinye ikhathi wena abantu besho njalo usuke ngalinyazwa ngayilutho soyilimaze yena ngendlela interpreta ngayo information. But we teach our children this when they grow ukuthi ungiphathe kabi mangabe wena ungakudla ukudla kwakho uqede. Really serious. Uphathwa yini ngabi because you are responsible for your emotions about how you feel. But that's a tough one. In fact, the child has just been made the parent of the parent. Kusho ukuthi wena usuphenduka wayingane, ingane yabo umzali wakho if ikwenza ube uphatheke kabi my anger. But we say these things again is a blackmail that we do to our children, trying to make them behave because we didn't know. We didn't know. Okay. Sometimes at 2 or 3 years old, okay, it's far better to say, I know you are angry, but you still can have the toy. I know you are angry, but you cannot have that. See, these are the things that we need to learn. Ukhona statement maybe funale swabhale swamemorize abe part of us. Like one of them that I will take you through once split boundaries, the importance of affirming your child. The importance of telling them when they've done right. And kubola bafana bam be cleaning salele makusathathe ngilala kuze kube a little bit late. Ba clean bathi uma usalele siya clean. Mase bethi I wonder ukuthi uzothini ba discuss ngiyabezwa. Mayise phumile mase ngiphumile athi omunye uthena uma njengoba siklinini. Oh, they want to be seen, they want to be affirmed. Bayazi benze kahle. And ingane, they are just children. When you say well done, they want to feel that once again. They just want to do that again. But children will always be children. But into engiyazi ukuthi when befunda bebancane, lokho abakufunde bebancane kuyahlala nabo. And most of the time or sometimes sibafundisa into wrong. Mase ihlala nabo, mase siba angry, not understanding it's us who taught them. We behaved before them. We taught them by our words. And we blame them. And we create a nation of confused people. And I'm saying it ends with us. Maybe it's going to take time for us to get it right. But the better we change, it's going to end with us. And our children will do better. And our children's children will do better. And our children's children will be even better if Tina decide to change a manje. So those are my words. This subject was very heavy for me. And also it's an eye-opening for me, which goes, help me. Help me create a nation out of my sons. I need God's wisdom. And this is God's wisdom. So uNkulunkulu anibusise, sizoqhubeka ke kusasa ngama boundaries. Kungenza next week singabi khona, sinodokotela uSuoane Msomi ngenxa ye-commitment esinayo, but sizoyiqeda lento. These boundaries siwaqeda because we need to be able to say no. And esontweni ngiyazi ukuthi khona izinto ezenzakala esontweni, akuhle ngoba ngikhuluma ngoba ngincikukazi kaNkulunkulu ezenzeke emasontweni. And we taught people to say, not to say no. So that is okay if ngenza into engekho right, but yes. But it's going to end with us because things are changing. In Jesus' name, amen. Nkulunkulu anigcine ke sinayo intombi yezwi namhlanje ozobe ethi drive home, ezobe hleli nathi nevrava room. Niyamazi ke intombi yezwi ukuthi uhlale njalo efika nevrava room. Mina ke okwami ngikuyeka la, ngikuphela la, emva kwalokho sizobe sinezwi lenkosi. We are going to choose one of the sermons by Bishop S.P. Msomi, my father, the bishop, baba kaDokotela Suoane Msomi. And ngizonishiya naye ke ekhuluma nathi esakha umkhulu bandla, ubaba bandla egameni likaJesu. And at 3 o'clock Ntombi will be here. Thank you to Dr. Suoane Msomi who held from 9 to 12. And ibodla ikati elincane elikhulu kade hleli from 6 to 9. Sithi siyabonga kakhulu, uNkulunkulu anibusise egameni likaJesu. Egameni likaJesu. So phuma ngobani ke la singibona. Sophuma ngo-Queen of the Palace ethi ngifumana umusa phambi kwakho, ngaze ngagqoka ingubo embalabala njengoJosepha. Asibonane kusasa. Ngiya kuma-comments lapha nako sengikhohliwe, ngiwabonile ama-comments kancane. Khona abakhomentayo bathi powerful, shalom ku-studio, and uNosipho laphaya umlungisi Qondi, ushishgel. Unosipho uthi, oh my goodness, mom, is deep topic, and I see I've got to do a transformation from within. Yes. Shalom, mom and dad, Sindisiwe, Catherine Chiyundi, siyabonga kakhulu, nisibukile, nisilandelile. This is powerful stuff and deep at the same time, but we are nailing it in Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. shall say